Incredible! This is
The Grove Podcast.
Hello, my name is Tabs and welcome to episode 139 of The Grove Podcast. Thank you for listening, and I think I can safely say that you're all doing very, very well from an Arsenal perspective. And look, I'm not one for hyperbole, but I think we just might be the best football team in the world right now. Look, I know it's only the group stages and then it's only November, but we are top of two tables. We've scored the joint most goals in the Premier League. We are the fourth top scorers in the Champions League. We've got the best defence everywhere. We just outplayed and outclassed a European giant. I mean, it certainly looks and feels that way, right? And you got to enjoy this now while you can, because you just never know when it's going to be this good again. So yeah, I think we're pretty good. Or as Larry David would say, pretty good. So, and joining me today to look back at yet another superb Arsenal performance is Ian, aka Ask Cannon Picks. How are you? And am I getting carried away?
I'm good, Tabs. No, I don't think you're getting carried away. The quadruple is on. Let's just fast forward to May and just get it all over and done with. I know this is an Arsenal pod, but it's kind of apt that this is episode 139 because that's how many goals Liverpool have conceded in November.
Indeed it is. That's a nice one, and we will touch on them a bit later. A bit of Schadenfreude towards the end, but yeah, that's the free fall of Liverpool FC is quite a joy to watch. So so there we go. But we'll see. So anyway, look, today's show we will look back at yet another brilliant performance by the Gunners in beating Bayern Munich 3-1. We have some really good listener and follower 3-word reviews. And then we'll finish with a preview of the third in the trilogy of big games this week as we take on the despicable clown car of a club from West London when we play away at Stamford Bridge on Sunday. But before we do that, as always, if you can leave a nice rating, comment for the pod on the usual apps, that goes a long way to getting the likes of Ian and his dulcet tones into other people's ears, not so fortunate as yourselves. That would be really appreciated because it's how the algorithms work these days. And also give us a follow and a subscribe and a like on the various social channels at The Grove AFC. But anyway, enough on that. Let's get on with the show. And as always, Ian, what was your highlight and low light from yesterday's drubbing of Deutschland's best, or so-called best?
So-called best, yeah. Well, I could pick so many, but I'm just going to pick... I like to pick something that's left of centre, and it was just Arsenal's first goal. The commentary on TNT, or the commentator with Ali McCoist, I can never remember his name, whatever his name is, he said Arsenal got the corner, and he started saying, but they've no Gabriel, will they be as effective with the corners because they don't have the big guy, you know? And then 2 seconds later, the ball's in the back of the net from Timber's header. It just made me smile. There was that, and Declan Rice's lung-bursting run into the box. That was just, I was like, come on. I was praying for him to score. But there's two highlights. It's very hard to pick a low light from a game like last night. But yeah, just... I don't know how easily, I suppose, MLS was done a few times. I'm sure we'll talk about him a little bit later on. But yeah, their goal, I suppose. But who cares when you've just beaten Bayern Munich 3-1?
No, indeed. And actually, on that point about the set piece goal, the corner, I hadn't even thought about Big Gabby not being there. We just got so used to right, one's out, he's injured, fine. We beat Tottenham easily. You know, for. I even forgot what the score was against Tottenham. We beat Tottenham at the weekend, and you know, so it was sort of like, yeah, 4-0. That was it, God. And we got used to it. And again, and I just didn't think, yeah, we scored a set piece goal without Gabriel. I mean, and it was all down to the delivery. That even I could have scored that one, especially when Neuer's going flying nowhere. So I just needs that touch in it. But anyway, I think Timber was there. I think Saliba could have got ahead to it. So no, that was cracking indeed. So I'll start with a low light which sort of made, which also then potentially, like a lot of our lowlights, turns into a highlight. I guess it's the Trossard injury. I don't think we know the full extent. It seemed like a calf strain. He walked off normally. He did go straight down the tunnel, but I guess that's to keep warm and start treatment ASAP. So given all the talk and all he's been playing, and we were talking in the last pod, it was his best ability is his availability.
Yeah.
And
it was our fault, guys. Sorry.
Lo and behold, he gets injured. But it did mean that Madueke came on, and who was really good in Trossard's place, and actually maybe was potentially a better option with his pace in and behind Bayern Munich's defence, and of course he got the vital second goal, and I think this is all part of his narrative and Arsenal's ex-players scoring against ex-teams narrative. So he's going to definitely be starting at the weekend, and he's definitely going to be scoring and boiling the piss of those. See you next Tuesday at Stamford Bridge. So I think it's just all part of what's written. It's all part of what's written, because Rice did it.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I was just going to say, we've done it. We've done it a few times this season already with Rice and Eze. So like Madueke, I was gutted to see Trossard. We were singing his praises as was the whole Arsenal community, and to see him go down like that, I'm hoping, because they were kind of prodding at his calf, and he walked off. He didn't look too bad. Maybe it was a precaution. They just said, "Look, let's not take a risk." But it did. It does look like he might miss a game or two. It's a real shame.
Indeed, but we've now got to cover. I mean, if there's any way we've got to cover, it's the left-hand side with Martinelli. You got Madueke, Eze. So I think we're, and actually I think, I don't know if it was we were talking about it or another one, is that sometimes actually you need these injuries just to maintain the squad, because when everyone's fit, everyone wants to play, and everyone's playing at a level that it makes it easier to keep everyone happy. Is that, well, you can't play, you're injured. So and actually, he's going to be really gutted, because when it was his spot to lose, and now suddenly Madueke comes in or Eze comes back, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh God, I've got to try and get that back, which is a nice problem to have, because then it increases the level and increases the the level that we're playing at. So it's a shame, but again, it seems like it could work in our favour. In terms of my highlight, I want to pick the Martinelli goal, and there's one particular aspect of the goal, and I just love that moment when a player is running through towards an empty net, and you just know he's going to score, but he hasn't yet. So it just prolongs the joy of the goal, and until the moment he finally does score, and then you can go full celebration mode, and there's just that there's a bit of angst, because just put it away, just get it in the net, don't mess it up, and all the rest of it. But there's that moment, is like, we're going to score and it's going to make it, and then you go, we're going to go 3-1 up and the game's over, and you just, all that goes into your head before the ball's in the back of the net. And I just love that moment. And Martinelli in Europe, I mean, he loves scoring in Europe. That's 4 in 4 games, because he's missed the Prague away game. And also that sort of goal, it seems to be a bit of a trademark of his, because it's almost a replica of the goal he scored against Villa a couple of years back, and where he was again celebrating before he rolled it into the net. He also rolled it into an empty net against Liverpool a couple of years back as well, when I think it was Van Dijk and Alisson messed up. And then not so easy was the one when him and Eze combined earlier this year against City for the equaliser, where he ran through in goal. And then there was the Bilbao goal where he ran through, and then there's the Chelsea one from 3 or 4 years back where we spanked them at Stamford Bridge, where he sort of ran through from the halfway line when I can't remember who was it slipped over, but yes. So So and then another aspect of this goal, again, if you look at it holistically, he was on the edge of our box. I don't know if he was the one that made the challenge on Elise, but he got the ball inside our own box.
Yeah, and very calmly,
Yeah, and then he passed it out, and then 10 seconds later, or a bit less, he's receiving it and free on and scoring a goal. And it was like a great vision and pass by Eze. And again, you see him celebrating before Nelly's put it in. And that just goes to show the desire and what fresh legs with pace can do it at that time of the game, because I don't think any other player was doing that. And just the way he motored away, you could see potentially, because look, Bayern had a really high line, and he could potentially see, look, if I get there and I stress this, and look, we did it against City, let's try and do it. And yeah, so there was so many good things about that goal.
Yeah,
So
there was. He was sensational in that moment, and the desire, as you say, to get up the other end of the pitch. Yeah, fresh legs really helps in that manner. But I have a question for you.
Okay.
If you were to be like dropped in, like quantum leap style, into Martinelli's body as he's running through a goal, do you think you'd score the goal?
Oh yeah, I've scored in enough open goals in my time. So, yeah.
Because I reckon even for professional players, because I thought, like, I played football for years and years, and there is still, as much as we have that little bit of angst, I'm sure the players still have that as well. Like that, there's like for half a second you must be thinking, oh my god, what have I missed this?
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe the enormity, but then again, that's what they practice, and then I guess that's what makes them professionals, that they can take the emotion out of the equation, and execute under pressure. And then I think we're of a moment where it feels like that's going to happen. Maybe, under Emery and we're a bit shit or whatever it is, maybe there's the doubt is in there, but at the moment everyone is full of confidence. Everyone is there. I think we're fine, and yeah, I'm scoring easy, no worries.
Yeah, no bother at all, eyes closed.
Absolutely. Okay, so those are our highlights and lowlights from the game. So onto the game itself. So the lineup came out, and I think we all expected MLS to start. He's been starting in Europe, but Mosquera for Hincapié, which was I think that was the main surprise for that. What did you think of that? Were you surprised? Were you bothered? Especially Hincapié had a great game against Spurs at the weekend.
Yeah, I was surprised that he didn't start. I wasn't surprised. I called it on the last pod that MLS would come in for Calafiori for two reasons. One, you just said that he tends to start during for the Champions League games, and I think Calafiori, obviously carrying a little bit of an injury, as we found out over the international break, so it was good to get a bit of rest into his legs. But yeah, I think Hincapié won. I wasn't bothered whatsoever, because I thought Mosquera was going to start against Spurs. So this is the absolute beauty of being an Arsenal fan right now. Like last season, 2 seasons ago, if any of Saliba or Gabriel or even the fullbacks were out injured, it would be an absolute catastrophe. We'd nobody of quality to come in. Like Kiwior did a decent job, and I was a fan of Kiwior, but this is just different level. So it's getting to the point now where no matter what lineup is put on the screen in front of me, that I'm like, obviously you could argue that we have a best 11 out there, but no matter what lineup, you feel confident still, even against a team like Bayern Munich.
Yeah, and I think I very quickly saw some quotes and stuff, and I think Arteta said something about he was out in Ecuador playing for Ecuador, and he came back in and played in a London derby. So again, this is how we rotate the squad. You know, Mosquera hasn't really put a foot wrong when he's come in, type thing. So and it shows the confidence he has to play. MLS is a 19-year-old on the left back, and you're playing this 21-year-old. As at left centre half, so it's it shows confidence in them, and he had a pretty good game. I judge it by the fact you didn't notice anything that he did wrong. You just and not when you say I didn't notice him. Obviously, you see him on the pitch and he's doing, and he's part of the team, but he there's nothing particularly that stood out. So if that's the case, I think that's a job done, and then we obviously had Nelly and Madueke in the bench who came on to great effect, and it was nice to see Odegaard back as well. So again, we're sort of gradually getting our players back and getting fitness into the team. So very good options. And when you look at the bench, you got White, Hincapié, Odegaard, Martinelli, Norgard, Madueke, Waneri, Calafiori. That's that's a strong bench, and it's only just going to get stronger. So and
to think we have Havertz, Gyökeres and Jesus to go back onto that bench as well. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So So look, in terms of the game and in terms of some statistics, Bayern Munich did have the possession stats 60-40, and I think the majority of that came from the first half. But as we've learnt in the past, possession is only so much, and it's what you do with that possession. And with our 40%, we had 3.11 xG to their 0.65. We had 13 shots to their 8. We had 8 on target to their 2. We had 7 big chances to their 1. We missed 4 big chances. So yes, they may have dominated possession, but it was in front of us. I think it was, I wouldn't say quite sterile, but I think we mastered it really, really well. And it's not like we parked the bus. We just sort of like, okay, let's just see what you're doing. It's not like we're doing, just sitting on the edge of the box. We're just sort of like keeping them at arm's length. So I thought that was really, really good. And
like this, to create 7 clear-cut chances against a team like Bayern Munich, that's crazy. It really is. Even at home, that's just phenomenal.
Yeah, it is nuts, and given who they are and how they've been performing this year. So look, before we get onto your thoughts of the actual game, how are you feeling before the game, pre-match? 5th round of the Champions League in the group phase. We're playing Bayern Munich, who've been a bit of a nemesis. They've taught us a few lessons over the years, and they're even posting about it on the socials. And there's an arrogance to them, and I think which they've earned. How are we feeling pre-match? In the build-up.
Yeah, I was fairly relaxed. I asked yourself and Jamie a very silly question on the last pod. Would you take a defeat if it meant we beat Chelsea on Sunday? And that's kind of where my mind was. I didn't mind. Like, I knew that if we had lost last night, that it wouldn't have been detrimental to us qualifying automatically in the top 8, because we have some games coming up that we should win. Nothing's guaranteed, of course. So I was fairly relaxed. I was actually in the mode of I'm just going to really enjoy this. Like, I didn't have that kind of feeling in the pit of my stomach of worry and anxiety. It was just, let's see how this goes, and like, regardless of the result, like, obviously if we won, it just puts us in a monstrous position in the Champions League. But a defeat, I wasn't afraid of a defeat, if that makes sense. So yeah. I was quite relaxed.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I think there's an air of confidence around this Arsenal team that you just sort of know that they're going to show up and perform. And you're right. It's a bit of a free hit. Of course, you want to win, but if we lost, it doesn't change too much. And it's just two of the best teams in Europe going head to head, and it'll be interesting to see how we measured up and see what happens. Because I said we've seen their stats in the Bundesliga and in the Champions League, and our stats in the Premier League and the Champions League. So it was good just to see how we measured up. And so yeah, it was just nice, good atmosphere. Get in there, drink, meet a couple of people. So yeah, I think it was just one of those sort of stress-free games. It sort of changed, and I'll get onto that in a bit. To me in a bit in the second half. But yeah, so, and then in terms of just the overall thoughts on the game, on the performance, what did you make of how we played, the performance, the result?
Yeah, I thought we were really, really good. And I know that's such a simple, easy statement to make. Like, you could see straight away when Bayern Munich, because the first couple of minutes Bayern Munich had most of the possession, and you just straight away saw the quality that they had. So you thought, right, okay, this is different to, like, we literally went from playing one of the worst teams in world football at the weekend to one of the best teams in world football last night, and you could just see that straight away. So there was a moment where I was going, oh, right, we're in a game here. But then we just kind of slowly took over a little bit in the first half. I thought the first half overall, by the time it had finished, was very even. I think a draw was the perfect kind of score line at that time. But even I was praying that the Eze magic was going to result in a goal, because that would have put us 2-0 up, and I reckon that would have been the end of Bayern even then. But I like the first half, yeah, 1-1, but the second half, oh my god, like, that has to be up there with probably the best 45 minutes of football we've played in years, in a long time. I was just blown away. I know how good we are. Well, I thought I knew how good we are, but they still surprised me, and it was just a joy to watch.
You're right. I think that's that's possibly one of Arteta's, if not Arteta's best half. Well, I think it was a big part of it. The team's best halves of football that seen. It was a privilege to sort of be there and witness it in person. And now, as I said before, I was quite relaxed, just enjoying, what was top quality game of football between the two best teams in Europe. And as you said, this is not Tottenham. These are the big boys are in town, and we are matching up, and more than matching up. And then all I thought about, but then the first half I was getting a bit antsy because I thought about, we were doing a lot of running, chasing after Bayern. There was a lot of off the ball work, and it was quite intense. And I'm just thinking of the Chelsea game, and Chelsea had an easy ride of things against Barca midweek, and I was just a bit concerned that it was going, if this was going to happen all night, we're just going to knock ourselves out. And as I said, I wasn't too worried about the result, but if we're having to put this intensity in just to keep chasing, not quite chasing shadows, but just to sort of, as I said, they came with arrogance, they played the ball around. And they played really well, and I think they were the sort of more dominant team, but a bit sterile dominant. But they were the better team. So I was just a bit concerned of what it was doing to us in terms of, I wasn't concerned for the game itself, but in terms of Sunday in Chelsea. But then come the second half, I don't know what changed. I was all in. I wanted to stick it to Kane. Even was he actually there yesterday?
No.
Because I didn't really notice him. There was someone in the fucking ear of the referee all frigging game. And
just on Kane real quick. I heard this. I think it was on the Arsenal Vision podcast that Jurrien Timber had more touches in the Bayern box than Harry Kane did in ours. Jurrien Timber had 3 touches in the opposition box and Harry Kane only 2, and I thought that was just hilarious and perfect.
Oh, so he was there. Okay, I hadn't really noticed.
He was there,
yeah, and I started thinking, no, I want to stick it to this Bayern. We're matching up, and they've given us a few beatings over the years, and that second half performance was just so good. I think it was total domination. We showed them who we are, what we're capable of, and we just battered them, and they had no chance. And as we said, this is a team. Bayern Munich had won 10 of their last 11 games, and they drew the other one in the Bundesliga. They scored 41 goals and only conceded 8. They won 4 out of 4 in the Champions League, beating PSG away with 10 men, scoring 14, conceding 3, and we just blew them away. They could not handle us. We were just too good for them. Our energy, our quality, our tactics, our subs, our desire, our defending, our attacking, off the ball work, they had no answers, and they could not live with us. And they're saying, these are giants of Europe, and we're just sticking it to them, and they had no answer. I know it's the group stages and all that, but you've got to just sort of like appreciate what we're seeing, because if it was this easy, other teams would be doing it, and they don't want to come and lose. They don't want to get humiliated. But so we might have poked the bear a bit, and we'll worry about that later. But yeah, we just showed Europe, the world, who we are, and we did it without Havertz. We did it without a centre forward, without Havertz, without Gyökeres, without Big G, Odegaard coming on for a few minutes, and then I'll just mention this guy's name, and I'll leave it to you. It's just that Rice. Oh my God!
I mean, that man. They talk about the Duracell bunny. This guy must be plugged into the mains. Like he's unbelievable. He, as I mentioned on the socials, that this guy, just give him the Ballon d'Or. Like we're getting way ahead of ourselves here. But if we do go on,
not if, when
the 2 big ones happen, the Premier League and the Champions League, that guy will just be, it'll just an automatic Ballon d'Or, like just straight away. And he dominated that second half. It was just like he took complete ownership of it. No matter what part of the pitch you looked, he was there. And as I said earlier on, that run into the box, like when the ball's played to him, and you could kind of see him looking, saying, well, will I pass it? Will I pass it? And I was like, no, run. And he just like Forrest Gumped it into the Bayern box. And it was such a shame because Neuer, like, he's like Donnarumma, he's like Mr. Tickle. He made a great save with his feet. I was hoping he'd like nutmeg him, like put him through his legs. But what a signing. And I know we got him half price, but we just have to revisit that. I think we got him quarter price.
But you look at what the money Liverpool have been spending and what they're getting for that. When you spend 100 million, you should be buying guaranteed output, and we've got that with Spain. And he's improved under Arteta, and I think he said it himself. He's improved as a footballer, so he's just got better and better and better, and he's different to what we thought he would be, and he's just this like number 8, right hand side, box to box, and what I like, I don't know, something about him yesterday. He had this real, and he saw a bit against Tottenham, the arrogance when he was sort of like knocked down and stood over Xavi Simons and stuff like that, and it was a real fuck this attitude. And a fuck you attitude, and let's just fucking do them and show them who we are. And he comes across as Mr. Nice Guy, and he's everyone's sort of favourite, and there's nothing not to like about him. And even then, he sort of does it in a way that is not like you get arrogance of other players. Like you get like a Ronaldo, they're so good, but they let you know that they're so good, and puts them. He just does it. He does his talking on the pitch, and he just does it in a way, and it's just so endearing, and he's just so good, so relentless, and just no one could stop him, and that's man of the match at home against Real Madrid, away against Real Madrid, now at home against Bayern Munich. So these are the big games he's turning up for. He's a big game player, be it scoring like he did against Real Madrid, or just being that
I have a new nickname for him. I'm now going to call him Rice of the Rovers.
Absolutely, that sounds and Royce was obviously was it Roy the Rovers? It was Roy Race, wasn't it? Roy, I can't, but I think it's something like that. Anyway. God, I think someone could look that up anyway. But also, look, he knows it. And again, there's no arrogance on this, but he said, look, at the minute, I'm probably playing the best football of my career. I feel so confident every time in training, every time I'm stepping on the pitch. I'm probably the fittest I've been as well. When you've got all those things going for you, I think when you step on the football pitch, you know what's going to happen. I've just got that confidence at the minute. I'm really happy with my game. Long may it continue. You've got to enjoy the ride. And this is the thing. Let's just enjoy the fact that we've got another amazing player in our team, and there were so many of them yesterday, but he just went another level, that particularly that second half, and that seems to be us at the moment. We eye up teams, we see them, and then we just kill them in the second half. So there we go. So that was sort of holistically, but it said it was a bit not quite concerning in the first half, and it was quite close, but Bayern did have more of the ball, as it was like 62-38 possession in that first half, and they were playing it around quite nicely, and then but I don't think we felt any under strain or pressure, and then when we did have the ball, they did go man to man, they did pressure us quite well, so we had to really sort of figure out we tried to play through them, but we managed. And it did look like when they did have the ball, if they couldn't get through that, and they couldn't get through us, I think the one primary target was attacking our left hand side, targeting MLS, so either direct to Elise, who looked really, really good. He was tricky, direct, great dribbler, or balls over the top for number 44, Stanisic, who would run down the inside left channel. But they seem to be targeting perceived weakness around MLS and Mascara down that area of the pitch. Now, what did you make of that particular aspect and MLS's performance?
Yeah, I felt a bit sorry for MLS. It wasn't a great performance, but one of the hardest things for a footballer to do, especially at the highest level of European football, is to sit on a bench week after week after week, maybe get 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, and then all of a sudden start a game against one of Europe's biggest teams or best teams, and against one of Europe's best players at the moment in Michael Olise. Like, it's really hard to do that. And I know you people will argue, say, well, if he's as quality as everybody's saying he is, he should be able to do that. But it is hard to come in cold, and especially against a centre back, or with a centre back that isn't normally there. Like, it's not as though you had Gabriel there, even though we know Mosquera was tight and he was really good yesterday. But he was kind of, beaten a bit too easy. Even still, when you look at some of the times that Elise went past him, he wasn't great for the goal. You get a feeling that a natural, because again, you have to remember that MLS is not a left back; he's a midfielder. So I don't know if a natural left back gets done in for the goal. But look, we won. It doesn't really matter. This is the beauty of it, that we have enough players around the pitch to take care of it. Like, he wasn't completely awful or anything like that, but there was just a few times that he looked kind of average. But it is hard to come in cold.
Yeah. I mean, and look, he will learn from this. He was part of a team that won 3-1. And look, he's 19. He set a standard for himself last year that was always going to be hard to maintain, and he set that standard playing regularly. As you said, he's had 5 starts this season, and he's also playing alongside a 21-year-old who's had 4 starts. So they're not going to be at the sharpest, and maybe not at their best. And it takes you time to get in, and you said against the Lise it struggles, and they targeted it, so he's in his head a bit. But obviously Arteta also trusted him to go 1v1 against a Lise, so he should have that confidence. So I'm not going to go too tough on him. You know, these are the days that you learn. You know, these are the days that you improve. This is where, and we're able, and we've got enough elsewhere to cover for it. So again, I'm not going to go big on it. I think it's more of a case of you saw a few things that he can improve upon, and I'm sure he will. And at the end of the day, even then, they didn't create much from the times that they tried to take advantage. The only time that they did score was like a perfect move where everything had to be executed to perfection, so that and even the best left backs in the world and all of it may not have been able to prevent that. So it's just I'm not going to go hard on that one, but it was sort of like it was the one thing that sort of slightly stood out in comparison to everything else. And if we're trying to pick, maybe we're being picky or anything like that, and trying to just sort of be critical. And if there are areas that we were weak, then that was potentially one area, but it didn't cost us. And actually, it's all relative. I would say. So yeah, on that first half, I felt I haven't had a chance to look back. I've been meaning to rewatch it, watch the highlights, and maybe you'll be better placed to tell me. But it did feel like, even though Bayern had the possession, we had the sort of better chances or more chances to score. So like Saliba had the free header from a Rice free kick. Saka was sort of causing him trouble, and they were double teaming him all the time. And then we did eventually score in the 22nd minute. Again, just and what I liked about this was actually the way we got the corner was from really good hustle by Zubimendi to win the corner, and Zubimendi had a really good game yesterday. I thought, especially the first half, I think he was our best player the first half. But excellent corner by Saka, and as we said at the beginning, flicked in by Timber. So simple, so effective, and that's 3 goals and 3 assists for Timber this season. And then should have been 2-0 in the 31st minute. So take us through what happened, because apparently there was like an unbelievable touch by Eze. I think Marino was the one that should have shot, but Eze did it. But anyway, take me through that one, because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't seen it at all. So the ball was played up, and Eze took it down. Like just trapped it like a bag of cement, and moved off with it. And I think I can't remember the defender's name. Is it Tal came towards him, and he just nutmegged him in the same movement. It was just unbelievable.
I'm gonna have a point of order here. Did he collect the ball on the other side when he put it through his legs?
No, he didn't.
No, but it's not a nutmeg. Sorry, I'm a nutmeg purist.
Right. Okay.
And for it to be a nutmeg, you have to collect the ball on the other side.
On the other side, right? Okay.
All he did was put it through his legs.
We're gonna have to come up with a new term for somebody who kicks the ball between somebody's legs and doesn't collect it. But it went to Marino, and Marino ran forward, and all of a sudden we had Marino running with the ball towards the edge of the box. We had Eze and Trossard on the left-hand side, and Saka. And I was actually screaming at Marino to hit it, to play it to the right-hand side to Saka, because we know how effective he is when he gets the ball in that area. But he played it into Eze, and now the commentary said that he opened up his foot to pass it as though he was passing it to Saka. And he did, but I don't like if his foot looked like he was passing it to Saka, but his eyes were looking at the goal. I think he tried to curl it, like tried to score, but just kind of opened up his foot too much.
Did he go right-footed or left? It was right-footed, wasn't it?
He went right-footed. Yeah. It kind of looked like he was trying to do the Thierry Henry finish, but but his foot kind of opened up too much. Now, if he was looking to play to Saka, he wasn't looking at Saka for a second. I think he was trying to score, but it would have been like just like goal of the season by far.
Wow,
It was just so fluid how he trapped the ball, not nutmegged, but put the ball through the defender's legs.
There you go.
It was a beauty to watch, and such a shame because obviously not too long after that, 2 minutes later, the guys Munich go up the other end.
In the 33rd minute, Carl, 17-year-old apparently, and apparently, he had a good game. He seemed to be a very confident, bright player.
Yeah.
It was just one of those ones. I think they just executed a move perfectly. I'm not too sure why Gnabry was on the right hand side over Elise, whether they'd switched or it was just the legacy from something else, but. Perfect pass over the top. Gnabry ran onto it. Perfect first time volley into the middle, and Carl is there with a perfect run to finish it off. And sometimes you just got to hold your hand up and say, "Yeah, good goal."
It was a great goal. Yeah,
there's very little you can do about that. It was very executed. It was clinical. I thought we always felt. I think they were going to score, get a chance, but they had to. Yeah, that's how good they have to be to get a goal against stuff. So, any part of that's wrong, and then someone's making a clearance or someone's intercepting. So I think it's just one of those ones that you just hold your hand up, well played. They're a very good team, and they score. So 1-1, and maybe a fair reflection in terms of the overall game. Then we had the Trossard going off in the 37th minute. Madueke comes on, but then very little else happens, and then we get onto that second half, and again, Bayern had more possession, 57 to 43, but 2.31 xG to their 0.32, and 10 shots to their 5, 7 shots on target, 6 big chances. Again, just total attacking domination from that important perspective. And Saka has a shot in the 48th minute. Marino has a header in the 52nd. Again, Marino header in the 56th. Carl had a chance in the 56th minute, but nothing happened. Marino heads in the 58th. Mosquera, has a chance 60. Then there's that Rice marauding run. And I'm not sure if he's stopped running yet. Like everyone's parted the ways and he's running out the stadium, as a Forrest Gump style. And then we make some subs in the 68th minute, and this is where we were able to change up. And I think this is where, if you're looking at the respective benches. And potentially where the game might have been won when it was tight would be the benches. And then not long after, Madueke gets his opening goal, his debut goal, and again it's substitutes combining. Calafiori ends up open and free on the left hand side, and his crossing has been not great recently, so I wasn't 100% confident, but he actually got this one right. And then Madueke is there at the far post to put it away. It looked a bit odd because he went with his left foot rather than his right foot.
Yeah.
Which when I saw it on replay, that was weird. But again, 2-1, a really important goal. And actually, as far as subs are concerned, we seem to be, and a combination of subs. I think we've had like 4 instances this year where they've combined to score. So we had Martinelli and Trossard against Athletic Club de Bilbao in the 1-0, and then Trossard to Martinelli in the same game 2-0. Martinelli and Eza against Man City 1-1, and now Madueke and Calafiori 2-1. So we're making substitutions that actually make a difference and count, and it's good to see, and I'm pleased for Madueke because up until now he's looked good, and it's not been flattering to deceive. I think he's just been very unfortunate not to have any end product, and so this is his end product.
Yeah, and I'm so happy to see him get on the score sheet. And but that I absolutely loved that cross from Calafiori because he had to hit it hard enough to get past all the defenders that were lining up on the edge of the 6-yard box, but. And obviously to get it past Neuer as well, who, as we're saying, is Mr. Tickle, and for it to land right on Madueke's foot was an incredible cross, I thought. So yeah, very happy and perfect timing ahead of Sunday.
Yes, indeed, nice little warm up, and then 7 minutes later. The Martinelli goal, and I think Neuer turns from Mr. Tickle to Mr. I have no idea. Mr. Lost,
Mr. Brain Fart.
brain fart. But we'll take that. And there's a great picture of Martinelli going through just about to score, and there's like Neuer behind him. Which, when you see a player behind you, when you see a goalkeeper behind you, and the goals in front of the player, something's obviously wrong.
Something's not right. Something's not right at all.
Yeah, and look, not only does he love a goal in Europe, a bit like Trossard, he's got this incredible record for us where he's now scored in 50 games. He's got 56 goals. We've won 41, drawn 9, and we haven't lost a game that Martinelli has scored in.
That's an incredible stat, isn't it?
Just he's got to play every week, and we've got to get him on penalties. We've got to get him in the box, and we just got to get him scoring, all the time because long may it continue. And then I think apart from a Calafiori header, not much happened. Odegaard came on, as we said. Ben White came on, and so we gave a few guys some rest. Good to get Odegaard back on. So that was a job done, and again a very joyous crowd at the end of it, a very joyous celebration, and we're all like sort of going, what are we watching here? What are we watching here? And again, like we said, Bayern had won 17 of 18, averaging 3.6 goals per game. We limited them to 2 shots and just a very low xG. Some other stats about our friend Harry Kane. Tonight's match was the first time in his career that Harry Kane played a full 90 minutes against Arsenal without having a single shot. That's because if you keep talking to the referee, you're not going to be in the right area to have a shot.
Yeah, Harry Kane and the referee's heat map would be very similar today.
Exactly, absolutely. And also, his record at the Emirates, if you take away penalties, because that's all he ever did. It was 11 appearances, 1 open play goal, and 1 win. So you're not playing Albania now. You're not stat padding. And I have this joke with my England supporting friends about him and his stat padding. So this is a different kettle of fish.
It's okay scoring a hat trick or 4 goals against Mainz, but Not against us.
No, indeed. And look, here's another one. It's in the stars. So Arsenal have won their first 5 matches in the Champions League for the first time since 2005-2006, which is obviously when we went to the final. Now we lost that one. If we go to the final, we're not losing it this time. So let's see. So let's hope that's a sort of a stat that takes us only so far, and then we change it. So very good. Anyone else that you felt that stood out that was of particular note yesterday that you enjoyed watching?
God, all of them. I don't want to lay into MLS in any way. He was probably the only one who was kind of substandard, but the rest were all so good. You know who I loved yesterday was Mikel Merino.
Okay.
I thought he played such a clever game and allowed us to link up with, get players involved in the game that we want, the likes of Eze and the wingers, Saka and Madueke when he came on. He's strictly speaking playing as our striker, but he's not playing in that position. He's kind of dipping into midfield and doing his thing from there. I thought he was really, really good. Timber, my God, every week we say it, every pod we're going on about him.
It's incredible.
Yeah, he's by far the best right back in the world, and it's not even close. But they're just a handful. I'll leave a few for you to mention as well.
No, I was going to say Timber again. He's just such a beast, and he's just so good defensively. Now going forward, again, it just seems to repeat. Should we just say the same things about Timber again and again and again, and just so good and a joy to watch, and again someone that we got in and he's improved massively. I think we all knew about his defensive efforts, and also he had that year out with the ACL injury. To be who he is now, and now going forward combines really well with whoever's there. He's got goals and assists. 6 goal contributions this season. And he's in a moment. It's like, well, when do we take him out? I don't know. He's, he just feels undroppable, but we don't want to break him down. So so let's hope Ben White can can step up when need be. When needed, and again, the other one was Zubimendi. I think in the first half, it was a great player. His passing, his aggressiveness on the winning the ball back, and again he seems to be like a smiling assassin. But when you think assassin is maybe a smiling pickpocket or something like that, because he's sort of coming along and he's not he's aggressive and like you say, he won that corner from hustling, but he's not like dirty or dangerous or anything like that. So but he's just sort of hang on, he's just nicked the ball from me. How did he get that? And he just sort of effortlessly gets the ball, and he's sort of like a midfield version of, I think it was, I can't remember who said it. It was like, I think it was either Maldini or Baresi who said, like, if I have to make a tackle, I've done something wrong. And or I've had to do a sliding tackle. Or there's something like that. And it's like him with that. He sort of just effortlessly somehow picks your pocket, gets the ball, and he's there, or his positional sense just always means that he's always there to get the ball. So just everything about what he does, and we always joke about his height. He's taller than he looks, and again, he's able to win aerial duels. Just again, such a great player to have as the six. But again, like we saw against Tottenham, he was sometimes the furthest forward player. So is the movement, the communication, the way he works with the sort of double pivot with Rice at times. His quality is just again so good, and like a steal at 55 million. I tell you, there's a team on the Wirral that could do with him at the moment. And then the subs, great for Calafiori, Nelly, Madueke, all making an impact. Nice to see Odegaard and Ben White back. So it's so many standouts performances yesterday. So very good all round, and it's just a joy to watch, and we have to pinch ourselves and look. I know we haven't won anything yet, and it's only November, but we have to enjoy this. Who knows when it's going to come round again, and we just have to really enjoy what we're seeing here, because these things happen in cycles, and look, we've had great teams suddenly not be great anymore. I think we've got to really appreciate and like what we're seeing. Okay, so on to your 3-word reviews, and I think I've forgotten to say this in the past, and apologies, but thank you for everyone who sent them in on the socials. Appreciate it, enjoy reading them. A massive apologies in advance when I mangle your names or your, is it handles? I don't know what is it a handle? I don't know.
Handles, I'd say handles,
handles, and apologies if I've missed any. So I don't know, Ian. I'll start with you, because I'm going to do that every time now, so I make sure I don't miss it. Can you remember what yours is?
Mine was Europe now knows.
Yes, they certainly do. If they didn't know before, they certainly will now. They'll stand up and notice that performance. Okay, so look, we'll go from Blue Sky. We have Camille Theroux. Now he came in with I'm assuming it's a he. Came in with a German word, so it was only 2, but when you translate it, it's 3. So Arteta's Spitzengruppe, if I've pronounced that correctly, and that translates to, and I've got the translation here somewhere. If I had it, God, I didn't. Okay, I've got it here somewhere. I think it means table toppers. So there we go. So something about Spitzengruppe is Arteta's table toppers. Okay, then we have Dave Seeger, Gunnar Dave 66, beaten the best. Yes, we did. Kai Jansen, B Sky Social, world's best team. Yeah, we are. Andro, topping 2 leagues. That's correct. We are topping the Premier League and the Champions League. Lee Mead, on top alone. Yeah, we are indeed. We'll get to that in a minute. Sid Silk, B Sky Social, different Arsenal now. we are a different proposition. And Lucy Guna, another incredible performance, and it was indeed an incredible performance. So, okay, so now let's look at the ones on Threads, and I'm going to go in big early on this one, because I think this was a lot of people like this one. And the winner is that Kane wasn't able. So
brilliant,
and that's from Jazzgra123. So thank you. That was Kane wasn't able. That's brilliant. And then we had Plantation Grove Dominica sent a load in, and I'm just going to go with one I like the most, and I thought that was correct, was consistency, bravery, joy. Indeed. Rifi Kialil, Arteta's substitution masterclass, it was. And then Win 3317 came in with never in doubt, but he also showed a picture of his betting slip, or her betting slip, which was odds of, this was from the US, odds of, I'm assuming 27-1, Jurriën Timber to get the first goal scorer. So
that's some call.
Some call. So enjoy your winnings. Then Paul C. Giltusa, world class gunners. We are the John Hyman, best in Europe. We are indeed, and I think I would suggest the world, because if you're best in Europe, the best in the world. Then we had Peter M. Larson, and he sent in a picture of the Arteta drawing of the heart and the brain, and it was like passion, energy, and clarity, and it was indeed. Anthony Aurioloy, Arsenal equals litmus test. I think we are. I would think we are that. It depends how you play against us. Schurz 42, precision, power, perfection. Yep. Jap Campbell 9643, Timber, Madueke, Martinelli. Simples. Yen Han 10, we are Arsenal, we are indeed. Harding, Ricky, patience control, devastating. That was. Then we had 51 envisage, Munich got caned. Yeah, I like that one.
Nice.
A Kane comes up a lot. Jim Edwards 1954, Saliba pocketed Kane. He did indeed. Bring me anchovies. Yeah, I'm partial to an anchovy on a pizza. Complete ass kicking. Yes, it was. J.W. Dowman, bow down Europe. Yeah, I'm liking these. These are good. Elaine Lambert Moore, my heart burst. Yeah, I agree. And then Bio Dunai, a Bavarian beat down. It was Demordi, the new Galacticos. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's going big. I'm with that. I'm going to keep going big. Bob Whitney 57. They Bayern Eunuch. Nice one. Mimi Kalilala, Veni Vidi Vici. We did come, we did see, and we did win. Ulfla, Harry Kane, who? Yeah, totally agree. He was anonymous. Well, I think the referee's on first name terms with him. But then 31 November, they are Spurs. They are indeed. We Dobbs Savage, we seized the day. Hackspit, very nice tifo. I think that's maybe a few games too late. Dirty side of the track, Rice Baby. Yeah, definitely the standout. I like this one. There's a follow-up. I am Rhythm. Thanks, West Ham. Yes, thank you very much, West Ham. There's another good one. Paul Latham, Dignity 80. Arsenal, Munch on Bayern. So, actually, Arsenal munch on Bayern. There we go. Arsenal munch on Bayern. Groovy Cathers too, getting even better. We are indeed. iOS 78407 will stay humble. Yeah, I'm struggling with that one. I'm struggling with that. Leg Puppy, it's our time. I certainly hope so. Shush Con 49, Kane got caned. He did. Can Dunk Hines, Balls of Steel. Yeah, I'll take that one. And Gramsby Stephen, long time coming, and I'm presuming that's as a result of not doing very well against Bayern in recent times. And then finally on on the socials, TikTok, a certain Gianluca T14 who turns 19 today. Happy birthday, G! Happy birthday, boy! Did Kane play? ? Yeah, I think we know the answer to that. Big Irks, maybe our year ? Chasbar, trust in the process, and Joey Simples. Wow. Okay, it was. And now finally on to the gang from the Groves group chat. Normie, we are massive. We are indeed. Matt Stacey, Le Grande Équipe. We are the big team. Owen, two tables topped. Sensi, the quadruple is on. It certainly is. Another one for Harry. Moz of this parish. What happened to Harry? Alan, Super Mick Arteta. I think, definitely. I think that a lot of yesterday was down to Mick Arteta. Sasha, I was there. Yeah, it was a privilege to be there. Alex Monroe, very simple. There aren't enough words, or not enough words, which is true. Jamie, simple, to the point. This fucking team. And just to finish, finally from me, dominate. I'm going for alliteration, Jamie, just for you. Dominating Deutschland's darlings. There you go, Jamie. Okay, so thank you very much for your 3-word reviews. I really like those. There were some really good ones there. And look, we'll be doing that after every pod. So send them in. So look, as far as the Champions League confirmed, I think we've definitely qualified for the next round. Like, if the playoffs are in the top 24, if not top 22. I've not verified it, but a quick Google search seemed to imply we did. We're first, played 5, won 5, scored 14, let in 1. PSG are second, won 4, lost 1. We've got a +2 goal difference. Bayern Munich, they're in third. Inter, I thought they drew, but they let in a late goal, so that was good. So we're the only undefeated team. And then you have to go down. I think Man City are in 9th, 1-3, drew 1, lost 1. They had a really bad performance. Newcastle in 11th, 1-3, lost 2. Go even further, in 12th, you got Liverpool, played 5, 1-3, lost 2, 4-10 against 8. And then even further down, you got Tottenham, 1-2, lost 1-2, drawn 2, lost 1. Okay, in 16th, and this is our Barcelona in 18th. They 1-2, drawn 1, lost 2. So some big teams hopefully going into the not finishing in the top 8. Oh, I missed Chelsea, but who cares about them? And look, let's all laugh a bit at Liverpool. What on earth is going on there? They're 12th in the Premier League, 13th in the Champions League table. They've let in 3 or more goals in the last 3 games, 2 of which are at home. They've lost 9 of their last 12. They lost 4-1 at home to a team we've spanked 7-1 away last year.
Yeah, it's insane. I got a so my next door neighbour and another friend of ours are they're both Liverpool fans, and they were we're in a little WhatsApp group, and they were saying we just can't believe this is happening. So because I was driving a lot today, so I had to send the odd little voice note, and I got a 5-minute podcast off one of them as to what was going wrong, and they just can't believe it. They fully agree that Van Dijk is done, Salah's done. Mistakes were made in the summer with the areas that they recruited in. They were just basically agreeing with what rival fans are saying about them, is that how can they get this so wrong, and that it's going to take a long time. Potentially, if it keeps going the way it is, to rectify it. And they were laughing about. They both agreed that Slot has to go. And
really? Okay.
Yeah. They were saying that, if they believe that Slot has lost the dressing room. It's something I've thought as well.
Wow.
I mean, you can't concede 10 goals in 3 games at home, and everything be all rosy in the garden. The players just aren't performing for them. You can see it clearly, and and the buck stops with the manager. I know he won the league last year, but they were again in this 5-minute podcast.
He was just a caretaker for Klopp.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And I actually genuinely, when I don't harbour any deep feelings for Jurgen Klopp, but I feel sorry for him. If Klopp had stayed at Liverpool, that was his title. He would have won. He would have won the league, and he would have deserved it for all the close shaves he had with City. This Slot guy comes in, wins a league because we're decimated for the whole season. City aren't what they used to be, and he wins a league title, and he could be the quickest manager ever to be sacked after winning a league title. And
well, I hope not. It's another slot in. It's like when we want Anjin and Amarin in and keep him there, but he just looks lost. I think he's lost the dressing room. And players are not quite down in tools, and I think I can't remember. It was Harvey Elliott. Was it Elliott? He's still there. I can't remember. Is it him?
Yeah, Elliott's still. Elliott's still there. Yeah.
No, it isn't. I can't remember. No, Jones. Curtis Jones is still there. Elliott's gone to Villa.
You're right. Yeah.
He just said he basically said, "Yeah, we're shit." I think he even said that in the post-match interview.
Yeah, and Slot is an anagram of lost. It was always it was there facing us.
It was written, as they say.
literally. It was just in the wrong. It was just in the wrong order.
It was dyslexically written. So there we go. and look, Spurs are 16th, as we said. Okay, look, they scored some goals versus PSG, and they were winning 1-0, and they were winning 2-1, but they still got spanked 5-3. which is a joy to see, and very Spursy, very very funny. Okay, Chelsea beat Barca, but it took an own goal and a sending off. So and Barca seemed to be just the Spanish version of an elite Ange Postecoglou type side. So I'm not putting much into that. And look, they're in 18th. So it's looking. Yeah, it's looking pretty good for us. So let's enjoy it. I think the higher up you are, the more chance you have of playing at home in the knockout phases. And look, and unlike last year where Liverpool end up paying PSG, I don't think that sort of thing happens. And also a bit like us last year when we were playing the away legs twice in the quarters and the semi, more likely to be at home. So let's just keep it up, keep up the consistency, keep doing what we're doing, and what can possibly go wrong?
Don't you start, Tabs.
I don't believe in all that fake nonsense. So there we go. Anyway, talking of which, when it's all going to start falling apart is when we play that clown car of a club from West London on Sunday at 4:30. Again, Anthony Taylor's the referee. It's on Super Sunday. And everyone's going to forget how much of a bunch of see you next Tuesday Chelsea are, and they're going to want to see Arsenal fall flat on their face. So, as far as that's concerned, what are you looking forward to and not looking forward to?
God, I hate when we play at Stamford Bridge. I'm looking forward to putting clear daylight between Chelsea and us. I think we'll beat them. I'm not saying it'll be an easy game, but I think we'll beat them. I think we're better than them. And to be 9 ahead of them, like Man City are playing Leeds at home, so you would think that's a 3-point game. Yeah. But the way they're playing at the moment, maybe you wouldn't know if Leeds would rob a draw. But just take it that if we beat Chelsea, City will win. Like we'll be 7 ahead of City. I'm not at this point in time. I'm not even counting Liverpool. I think it's Chelsea and City.
They might not even qualify for the Europa Vase or
whatever that thing is called. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to us. Hopefully, just putting 9 points between us and Chelsea would be massive. It'd be an absolute and to cap a massive week. Imagine if we won all, because there was rival fans were taking screenshots of our 3 fixtures against Spurs, Bayern Munich and Chelsea, saying this is where it all ends for Arsenal. It'd be just magic to go and do it. And I'm not looking forward to just having to look at Stamford Bridge. The place physically makes me sick. They're just an awful club. I just hate them so much. And I'm just not looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to showing the Premier League again who we are. Being that team that turns up with confidence and shows them who's boss. It's like those teams when Man City were just. It makes it feel like I'm harping back to years ago. But when Man City were just so good and would just turn up. It doesn't matter where they're playing. They've won. They've sort of won it in the tunnels or things like that, or like the Man United teams of old. When you're just so dominant and you just go there and it's sort of like home or away. Look, I'm sure they've lost games and all the rest of it, but you just turn up there and it's going to take something extraordinary to win. So I just want us to turn up and be the team who we are, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. And again, showing like we did against Tottenham, like we did against Bayern. 3rd game in a week. I think we've got so much confidence, so much motivation. I think that will carry us through. When you're playing like this, you don't feel tired. No. So look, we've got players coming back fit. So I'm looking forward to that. Just like you, I'm not looking forward. I hate this club even more so than Spurs. They're a bit meh. They're a bit annoying and stuff like that. But this is the club that they're everything about them is what's wrong about football. They're just, as I said, I always refer to them as this clown car of a club. They've got no history, no soul from what Abramovich has done and who he was, to now. They're just a bunch of asset traders who. Okay, after throwing enough shit at the wall, have eventually stumbled upon some half decent players. It's going to happen when you do what they do. But they'll keep them for a week and then they'll sell them on because again, that's all they care about. So I just detest them and nothing good should come to them or of them. So I just don't want to lose to them. I don't want them thinking they're any good and have to listen to their bollocks and all the rest of it and getting above their station. I just want to put them in their place. No. What sort of result will I take and all the rest of it, we'll come to that. But I just don't want them to have any fun. Even their players are just despicable, the likes of Cucurella, but the likes of Neto, and not Caicedo, the other midfielder. I've forgotten his name, but yeah. Anyway, just all of them, just want to put them in their place. So we're going to turn up there. Who's going to be playing? What's our lineup? What's our approach?
I think it's going to be the Spurs lineup if Trossard is fit. I think he'll go with that. If not, we'll have Madueke. I think he'll, like, even from a fitness perspective, I was going to say even if the Gyökeres or Havertz are back, he'll stick with Marino. I think we'll approach the game in a manner like we did the last two. Well, not in the last two games, the Bayern Munich game, in that we'll give them a bit of respect, but then we'll just grow into the game and dominate and beat them. We're much better than them. I know they're the closest team to us, and they're a half decent side. As you said, they've thrown so much shit at the wall that it's like some of it's working. But yeah, I think he'll like Arteta would like pay a lot. Well, not pay a lot of money, because he'll just coach a side, so because he wants to beat these so badly, especially there.
There are some decisions. You're right. I think Hincapié comes in, Calafiori comes back. It'll be interesting if Gyökeres and Havertz, particularly Gyökeres. Chelsea aren't that brilliant defensively. Put them under pressure, get a big man up against their guys. Again, it depends on the type of game he wants to play. So it'll be interesting to see, because it's not like Gyökeres was out for weeks and weeks and weeks. So 2 or 3 weeks, you can come straight back in. Again, interesting what he does. Does he with Odegaard? Because again, Odegaard in the past would always come right. He's fit, plays, gets in. Now Eze's performing, and again, it might be this thing about partnership. So if you've got Eze playing, then Marino actually is quite a good forward, because he sort of goes right. Eze goes up centre forward as a false nine. So those two working together in tandem, type thing. So actually, if Odegaard does come in, then should Marino be playing, or wouldn't it not be better to have Gyökeres, because Odegaard's finding those runs? And then do you put Eze out wide and Madueke on the bench? So I think there's these partnerships that what combinations work best. And I would suggest, I think the Eze Marino partnership does work well because of the movement that they're making, because of the positioning, because of what Marino does dropping into midfield. Then that's a space where Eze goes into, or Saka and Madueke goes into. So whereas I think Odegaard is deeper, and maybe they fall into the same place. So therefore, all of a sudden, Odegaard and Marino in each other's shoes, because Marino's been going a lot of the right eight positioning sometimes. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I'm not 100% certain with Marino starting. I think if Gyökeres fit, he might start. And then it's a decision what you do with Eze and Madueke and Odegaard. But we'll see. But again, brilliant options. We're talking about talking about great options that we have. So let's just see. So and in terms of Chelsea, their home form, they played 6. They've only won 3 at home, drawn 1, lost 2. They had that famous loss to Sunderland. They also lost against Brighton at home. Their home is only a +3. They've scored 9, let in 6. Their away form is better. So they're inconsistent. Again, like all the other teams in the Premier League, there's only one team that's consistent and consistently good, and that's us. So they can win on their day, they can lose on their day, they can draw on their day. They've had some recent results, but who've they played? They beat Burnley, bottom of the league. They beat Wolves, bottom of the league. They beat Tottenham. Well, we know how shit Tottenham are. They couldn't beat Sunderland at the top. They beat Forest towards the bottom. They beat Liverpool. We look at how shit they are. Okay, they lost to Brighton. They lost to United. They drew with Brentford. A lot of their results are, they beat West Ham away. Well, when West Ham were terrible, they drew at home to Crystal Palace when they should have won, when the Eze free kick should have counted. Okay, and they beat Fulham at home, which you should do. So actually, in terms of, their position, fine, they've got points on the board, but really, what have they done from a performance perspective? So, they got some tricky wingers, and they got some players that are right, and like Neto's looking right, Enzo Fernandez, that's the guy. So they have them some dangerous players. And then there's the whole Rice Caicedo debate, and which is not a debate.
It's not a debate at all.
But they're both good players, but they're also very different. Rice is an 8, Caicedo's a 6, but there's no debate. Rice is just better. So, and then oddly enough, Palmer again is missing. He seems to always dodge us. He seems to be a draft dodger or an Arsenal dodger. So I think their defense is vulnerable. Their keeper is it's amazing how the money they spend on wingers just maybe buy a decent keeper. So you're and our head-to-head record. You said actually at Stamford Bridge we don't do too badly. When was the last time we lost at Stamford Bridge? I'm looking at all I did the head-to-head results from 2019. We've lost 3 out of 15. And actually, when was the last time we lost at Stamford Bridge? We drew last year 1-1. We drew 2-2 the year before. In terms of this, since records began, my records been 2019, we haven't lost at Stamford Bridge. So we seem to do all right there. We could draw and win. So, yeah, how do you see this one going? It sounded like you're trending towards a win, but how do you see this one going?
Yeah, I think I'm not taking things for granted, but I fully believe we're a much better side than them, even though they're second in the league and playing well. But look, we're top of the league and playing even better. So I'm going with a 3-1 Arsenal win.
Wow, 3-1. Okay. Now I've put 1-1. Now that's because it's whether that's what I'll accept, and I said I'll take that and run, or that's what I think's going to happen. So I'm sort of just going with a 1-1. Just I agree with everything you said. Just something about this game.
I just think you have the ick when it comes to these and the fear.
Yeah, there's that, but there's also what I would accept. As in, I think we're at a stage where we don't lose away to our rivals. Ignore Liverpool because they're not a rival. We don't lose away to our primary rivals. We beat them at home, and then we're just consistent against everyone else, and that will be enough because everyone else is going to be inconsistent and beating each other and all the rest of it. And I think with that, you win. Now, again, you want to go in there and dominate, show who you are. I think I would take a 1-1 draw. With that, and that's sort of partly why I'm putting that there, so sort of thing. So, and also part of putting that there, as in, I'd rather take a 1-1 draw than lose, obviously. Which is, So then, don't predict the whatever. So that's what I think I'm going with. So there we go. So look, yeah. As we said, we are the best team in the world, and we're going to go to Chelsea and draw 1-1. There you go, because they're the other best. They're the other best team in the world. Apparently, they're officially the best team in the world because they won some infantile summer kickabout. So let's see. There you go. I wonder if anyone's going to say of the best 2 teams in the world facing off each other. God, ridiculous. So there we go. So look. Thank you, Ian, for joining me on this joyous Thursday, and. Thank you. And where can people find you in the socials, and what do you get up to?
You're very welcome, Tabs. It's always a pleasure to speak about this wonderful club, but even more so when we're playing so well. People find me on all the socials at Ars Cannon Pics, where you can send me a picture of your cannon if you're on holiday or whatever. Keep them coming. I'm heading very close to 750 cannons, and
wow,
yeah, keep them coming.
Well, you'll hit the 1,000 then next year, won't you?
Yeah, so, hopefully so. Yeah, it's trending that way. Yeah.
Sure you will. So anyway, thank you, Ian. And look, you can follow us at The Grove AFC on Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, Insta, everything else that you can think of. The next show will be post-Chelsea, pre-Brentford, where hopefully I'll invite one of my Brentford friends, and we'll do a little mini podcast within a podcast about doing the preview of Brentford, but hopefully after laughing at that clown car of a club called Chelsea after Madueke gets his hat-trick against a former club.
That's why I went 3-1, by the way.
There you go. It's a Madueke hat-trick. Oh, could you imagine? The Thames. Imagine the Thames being full of piss and it would just be boiling over. That's how much that is. That would be just so good. I think I might explode. I think I would generally self-combust if he scored a hat trick, and there won't be a podcast because I'll be in multiple pieces across my living room. and look, if you want to hear more of that interesting chat, or you want others to hear it, please leave a nice little comment and a rating on the podcast channels, or get on the socials, spread the word. We do appreciate it. We do notice it, and we thank you dearly for doing that. So thank you for being here. Thank you for making it this far. Thank you for listening. And until the next time, I'm going to have to say it. Fuck you, Chelsea. Come on, you Gunners. Come on, you Gunners.